couldn't get through. Yeah. Anyways, I couldn't bring that back, that snow snake that they gave me, and it was quite long. Uh, some of them had new sticks, and some of them had traditional sticks, and some had they call these short mud sticks. So there was a time to learn for me at that time, and then I come back over here to Michigan. I was in living in North Dakota at the time, and came back over this way and ran into uh, the families here that was doing it, and they talked about the snow snake, and I got to actually see it and participate when I was here. Um, some of them I know some of the ones that used to uh, have the games, and I know some of them where they brought it from, and then brought it here to Petoskey. So we were talking with some of the elders here, and we were talking about some of them names. I remember Pat Narganash having snow snake. That was probably, I don't know, probably about 30 years ago. And, he had his snow snake was up there at the high school and over at the, what was it, Resort Pike out there at the school. But anyways, I guess it was, there was a lady that was with him, Pam Dunham, and she helped Pat bring that here. She was in the Title IV.
Yeah, Title IV
Title IV program
down in Detroit, and she was from Canada. I don't know what tribe she was from, but she talked to Pat, and they started doing snow snake down in Detroit, and then eventually it moved up this way. And Arlene was in Title IV at that time, and also Marie Boda, and they got together and started doing snow snake. And then it ventured out to Burt Lake because Loretta had so many kids and grandkids and nieces and nephews that she wanted get them involved in snow snake. So that's how it got started in Burt Lake. And then when we moved back from North Dakota, we lived out in Bay Shore and started going to snow snake, and then they moved it over to Resort Pike School, and the track there that they made was less than 100 feet, and the snow snakes were going off the track. So we started building it a little bit longer. I think the first one we built at the government center, it was like 400 feet long, and they were still going off the track. So then we had to build even longer ones, and that's how it came to be like 600
It's almost 2 football field lengths
yeah.
that they were throwing, and then they were still going off the track. But they have we had when we started, they had categories, and to for the games, they went by age group, and yeah, they some of our elders that threw snakes, they didn't go very far, but they enjoyed it. They'd get in competition with each other, and have a few laughs. Also, people traveled from quite a ways just to be to games, snow snake games, and then we'd all get together and throw snakes and share food and share stories and um, met people. Almost like it was like a powwow, you know. But yeah, there were quite a few different people that would show up and bring their kids along and give their kids a chance to, you know, do something too, you know, and you know, bringing their families along like that. That was really good, you know, and that's what it's about, you know. I know they're getting a competition, but it's all fun, you know.
One story that I heard was how the snow snake even got started was a messaging system for the tribes to communicate, and they would throw those snakes in the snow to get their messages to the other people down in the other villages. And then once they believed that if they didn't burn them, that the snakes would come alive. So after they got their messages, they would burn their snakes. And not really sure how it got to become a competition, but in Canada, I know they, I don't know if they still do, but they used to compete for money, cash prizes. And the women weren't allowed to even participate. And I had a guy call me one time and ask me what our prizes were. I said, well, we give t-shirts and medals away. And he just kind of, oh, okay. But he never came to our snow snake. So, you know, it's more of a family event for us now than anything, I think.
Yeah.
Gets everybody together. There's no arguing,
Well, it was fun to get
no
into some
drama. So,
competition, though.
and it's a, you know, something to do in the wintertime. And we would try to incorporate the language and other programs to come and participate so that kids could learn other than just doing snow snake.
Yeah, back in the day, I was all into it about competition when I was younger.
Yeah,
But I had an arm at that time where I could throw, you know, I could throw it. And, you know, it's really something because when you throw them snakes, you know, you got to have just the right touch, you know. It's got to be a smooth throw. The smoother it is, and, you know,
good
the
track.
better, yeah, the better the throw. And, you know, sometimes you can overthrow and sometimes you can underthrow it. You can throw a little bit too light and sometimes you can throw a little bit too hard. So, but I think there's been people that show up there and really didn't have a good, strong throw. And I've seen them out throw other people. So it's just like that snake had like its own little spiritual path, you know. Uh, and it would go right through there and just find its way right through there because sometimes it could get pretty bumpy and sometimes can be kind of curvy and sometimes, you know, and that and it's I don't know, you'd have to be there to see how it does, you know, it does different each time you throw. And the weather plays a big part of it, you know. It's warmer out. Sometimes snow snakes go a little bit less. If it's real cold out, sometimes they'll just go right on through there, you know. And it depends on the moisture, you know, plays it. Yeah, that's about what plays a big part of it, you know. I've I don't know if I could throw as good as I used to, you know. I don't have the arm, but it was all, you know, everybody had a good time. That was what it was all about, you know.
One story I remember Arlene telling me when Dr. Meyerson was working for the tribe, and he asked Arlene how we made our snow snakes, and she said, "Oh well, when it's nice out, we kill our snakes and then we throw them in the freezer and then we pull them out in the winter time and use them on the snow snake track.
Well, I don't know. I made, I was making snow snakes there for a while and helping out, the community making snakes. And Kathy, when Pat turned that over to Jim and Arlene, because I think Pat Naganash moved back down to Detroit then. And then Jim and Arlene had it for a long time, and then we started helping them, and pretty soon we kind of got cornered into it, so we started doing it. And then after that, then I guess Marlene been taking care of it, and Tom too, for making that track, and
Yep.
it's to make a track, you have to have a lot of patience, because the snow, sometimes it can really come down and then your track get full, or sometimes it can just all of a sudden melt.
I know when we had the basketball program going, a lot of the kids that participated in basketball would come and help with the snow snake track.
Oh, yeah.
So we did, not every year, but we had help
Yeah.
sometimes when the kids would help, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it was JD and I and Tom and what's the guy's name, Steve.
Oh,
Steve
yes,
helped.
yeah, Steve helped out. So.
Brian Carver, Regina.
Yeah, actually, I got some sticks. Brian Carver, he said he retired, and I told him, nah, you'll throw again. But he said, I said, I'll hold on to your snakes for you. But yeah, I got to see a lot of people make snakes, and there's some people just have the touch for throwing a snake. One time I remember seeing a guy first time throwing in, and he out threw me, and I've been throwing for a few years, and he just happened. I don't know. Like I said, it seemed like that snake's got a spirit of its own when it goes through there, I know back, they tried to date it back, as find out where it originated and exactly how many years ago it was, and they couldn't figure it out, and I think it just traveled, once they start doing it, and it just started traveling. That's what I believe, because I try to think of maybe there was just a certain tribe that did it, but as far as I know, there was quite a few tribes. There's 6 nations, over that way in Canada. So it involved, they were all together, some guys. But then, start traveling around, towards different areas. Because I guess back in Detroit, it had started up, was that back in
the 70s.
the 70s, I believe, yeah. Because at it was a Title IV program there that was having snow snake games. So is there anybody have any questions? About something about this, or maybe something else?
Do you happen to have one of your snow snakes at all, JD?
Yeah.
To kind of
Yeah.
show them? Because I actually found mine that I made like super long ago, but I was like, I don't want to show it unless he's got a nice one.
Good
Well,
fun.
This one isn't finished.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
So,
JD, can you describe how?
Narrow this down like that. So, but a lot of people use lead. They'll use lead. They'll pour lead in the head. We used to do that, and then we found out. I found out from some guys that it's better to use hard wood, solid wood. So Been doing that. That's one of them.
What kind of wood do you use, JD? What kind of wood do you use?
Well, it's the heaviest wood that you can get, you know, I remember, Brian Carver, he was using, ironwood. And, yeah, a lot of them like to use hickory.
Okay.
Like this one here is out of hickory. I tried to build it, some of them that was, built back and,
This was a natural though,
yeah.
the shape of this,
It's
that's
natural,
how the stick was, a natural shape like that.
yeah.
And I've
this-
seen that one go down the track, and that one's really cool because it does look like a snake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I've seen somebody, if that's the all black one, I've seen that one, and it's really cool on the track and stuff. Because some of those, when they throw them, they actually do
Yeah,
look
they
like a
look like a
snake
snake,
slithering.
yeah.
And this one, back years ago, I saw pictures of it in, you know, history books and stuff. And, I saw they were looking like that. So I wanted to build one like that. And that's how we got this one. I remember I could never do good throwing this one. The guy came up and borrowed my stick and he outthrew everybody with this one. But yeah, it looks like a snake goes through there. And its head will go back and forth.
Mhm.
And then, we got some short ones.
Mud sticks.
Yeah, we got, like this one's a short one.
That's an in-between one.
Yeah.
That's my diamondback.
This is Kathy's, yeah, I call it the platypus, but.
No, this is the platypus.
Oh, the platypus there.
See,
Oh,
this
yeah,
one
there it is.
has lead in it. I don't know if you can see it on the bottom.
Mhm.
This is the one I call platypus.
Nice.
And this is inlaid turquoise in the eyes.
Ooh.
I recognize those snakes. Some of those are some champion snakes at LTBB.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. It's Aunt Mary.
Mary,
Aunt, my sister.
Mary
Mary.
made that one.
Yeah, we got quite a few of them.
I don't know, we ended up with everybody else's sticks in our bags.
A friend of ours, John Hoagland, he got into throwing snow snakes and he built a real fancy one and it hit the eyes lit up. He put a battery pack in there and everything in the eyes.
So you could throw it at night.
Yeah,
That's a cool idea.
yeah, so pretty much how much work you want to put into it. I know some people just use dowels.
That's what my stick is. So I'll show my little guy here. This was we did the first snow snake when I first got in charge of the snow snake, and all it was just a dowel rod. And I started decorating it, and then I ran out of time. But
Mhm.
it's all, you know, flat, got the back and everything else like that. So
Yeah, I think that's what this is. This one, that's the skinny one.
I think this one here, I think that's, it's either Coca-Cola or I think that's what this is. But, this came off from a fireplace mantle. And, they got rid of the mantle. And so there was a big piece of wood and that's where all this came from. Apparently they didn't know what it was, but we cut it up and got a whole bunch of snow snakes out of that thing. And these are really heavy, so they fly down there pretty good.
Those are Brian's. right?
Yeah. They look a lot different.
Oh,
But anyways,
you guys know who Ron Olson is, don't you?
Mhm.
almost
He,
the gym.
yeah, he's the GM. Anyways, he participated one year and he was had this grand idea to put skis on the bottom of his snow snake because he thought it would go further. So he built this two little tracks to look like skis, and didn't work out too well though.
Is
We had a
anything,
couple, we had a couple questions in the chat that one of the questions was to kind of explain a little bit more of like what the snow snake is. And I know you guys had mentioned, it was it was a way of people communicating in that,
Yeah.
sending these snakes across the ice and stuff. I've heard stories from different people that have come across too, that this was a way of people not just gathering, but also getting their physical activity exercise.
Mhm.
And people hunting would take, their spears and stuff, and this is how they would go about throwing a snake, and they're out rabbit hunting or something like that. So I've also heard different stories along the way.
Yeah. Different.
With the snow snake and stuff. So there's just like a bunch of varieties. So it just depends on who you talk with and stuff. But
Mhm.
what we do with it now is just like you guys said, it's more of a gathering, getting
Mhm.
people together, because wintertime, nobody likes to get out. And but this is just one way to kind of bring the whole community together and have that friendly, very competitive competition
Yeah.
that many of us are. And over the years, I've seen quite a few, I see elders all year long. But when it comes to this competition, man, they are fierce. They take
Yeah.
their game serious, and
Yep,
and
they're
all the
out
way
there
down,
ready to throw.
all the way down to the little ones, man. There have been times, when I, had taken over and started doing the track and doing the event and stuff. But I've seen a lot of different snakes come through, and people really taking the time to decorate and be proud of that, and see, they would put their heritage or their signs or their colors, or and it's just nice to see all that creativity from people and see how people are proud of that.
Mhm.
And like you said, with the competition and throwing, I the longest track I ever did was almost 500. And
Mhm.
we still had some people throwing it off the track,
Mhm.
So let me see, there was another question about how it traveled, because there was somebody that said they were from the Beaver Islands and they never said that we did any snow snake games. But you guys had said Pat had kind of brought this.
Yeah, he was.
They brought
his
him.
girlfriend at the time was Pam Dunham, and she was from Canada, and not totally sure if he went there with her, but she's the one that
Yeah, he did. He went there.
talked to him about the snow snake, and then he brought it up here to Arlene and Marie, and pretty much kept it in Title IV up until, I want to say the late 80s is when the tribe started taking over.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I also heard when I was over in Six Nations that that one guy was telling me that they would take, they would want their snow snake go further, so they would make sure that they coated them really good, and also they said that they would go get them blessed by a medicine man, and I guess that's when they were clawing around talking, and they were start telling me, said, yeah, you've got to have some good GBIC, what they're saying is you got to have some good medicine, and but he said back when they first made them back then, that's what they would do after they were made. They would take them to an older medicine person, and they would pray over them. So.
I know we don't pray over the snake per se, but I know we always had an elder pray
Yeah,
before we started the event,
yes, we did, yeah. Yeah,
so.
yeah. They didn't bless all the snow snakes, so get out and smudge them or anything,
No.
but yeah. But there was always a prayer before we started, you know. They'd light a smudge up there.
Charge you for them.
They'd light some sage up by the track and smudge the track down. I remember that.
Mhm.
Yeah. But there's some, you know, like you said, there are a lot of stories out there, you know, to figure out which one is the original story would be hard to find. Unless you had somebody that was over 100 years old, you know, that would do it, you know, maybe they might know, but I don't know, they were saying this game is really, really old, so, you know, no, it's hundreds of years old, not just only 100 years old. So it's kind of hard to say, you know. But we enjoy it, you know. That's why we do it, you know. And the people come there and share their stories about where they got their snow snakes and where they learned from. And that's how, you know, that's how we start to know things about the snow snake. You know, the more you go, the more you learn. So it's a learning experience too. You know.
I definitely had no idea because I had never been to a snow snake until, you know, Cottney, you know, I used to work with, you know, Cottney, you know, back in the day and stuff. And then it was like, here you go, Marlene, here's snow snake. And I'm like, huh? What do I do? What is it exactly? So yeah, definitely I can agree with the learning curve.
Yeah, it's a big job.
It is. It's a big job, but you know, watching and then seeing everybody that comes out, it is a really good experience, and seeing, like I said, all the different age groups, everybody just coming together, everybody having a good time. The only body that's ruining the day is normally me, because I'm like, come on, people, let's go. or when I tell them, I'm sorry, your snake only went this far, you know, and they thought they threw it really far, and I'm like, sorry. But yeah, we've been blessed pretty good lately, except for the past couple of years. We haven't had the snow to do it, but it was definitely a learning curve. And I appreciate, you know, when I had questions or needed some answers, I had you two to kind of go to and help guide me with some stuff, because I had no clue.
Well, I've had people in Fort Totten, North Dakota, you know, that they've asked me to come and help them do that snow snake there. They said they wanted to know that. And then also too, Mackinac City asked me to, when they have their winter games up there, they wanted to do it, but you know, they wanted me to do all the work for them. Heck, I told them it's really hard to make a track, you know, and you pretty much got to have somebody know what they're doing when making them tracks, you know. So you know, back then we were dragging some maple trees, you know, probably, you know, we'd cut them about 8 foot length and taper off one end and drag it through with ropes, you know. And then later on, we started forming it a little bit different, using different things to form it, you know, to make that for a lot more smoother inside. Oh yeah, there was a lot of people come up with different ideas to make it really smooth like that, you know. But I noticed that it's going to come out the way how it wants to come out, not the way we want it to come out, because you know, the weather, you know, you never know what the weather is going to bring out there at the track, you know.
I actually still think we have that same log that you guys pulled down there, that cute, yeah, that big long, like I said, the first couple of years that I had done it, it's a it's gotta be like, what, 8 feet long?
Yeah.
And so what we did to build the track is you have to have a lot of snow. And so you bank all that snow up. So you got a really nice high, probably, 3.5 foot, 4 foot high. And pray the weather stays cold. So, that it doesn't melt. And then you got to take that log, put the log in and drag it. And you form this nice long track. And then you have to work on trying to maintain that. And, we've come up over the years with trying to figure out ways to ice it and hope that, it all goes good. I think we went and bought a couple of the little spray, the little pumps you find at the garden stores to get rid of insects and stuff.
Yeah.
Pump it up and then spray. And so you have this really nice long track. But like you guys said, it just depends on the day, when everybody gets together, it all depends. And that track lets you know.
This winter would have been a good track because of cold weather.
Yeah. I was kind of missing it here the last couple of years. Maybe next
know.
winter.
Yeah, I know we were close last year. We were really
Yeah.
close, and then they're just like, no, we can't. We can't have the building open, and so that was a bummer.
I'm really happy to say that one of the title programs, the Title VI from East Jordan Public Schools, they've had it the past couple of years, which is awesome to hear that they're passing that tradition down, and the students are learning about it and sharing it with their community. So that's exciting.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, it gives everybody something to do, in the winter time, and because they usually don't get together in the winter. So everybody's kind of anxious to get out of their homes. Well, I was pretty surprised that Teresa come and talk to us about wanted us to talk about this snow snake, because I don't know. I was just kind of wondering. I was like, well, what they're doing over internet now. Everybody's on internet nowadays, so I guess it's one of the things that's going to be here for a while, and maybe more so, where everybody's just online all the time doing a virtual thing, but this me and Kathy don't know. Well, I don't know too much about this stuff, hooking up the computer and that, so Kathy knew a little bit about it. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have been able to get on. I think maybe if they ever do have a snow snake here, that also they would be able to put this online too, so that they could see, because there's other families that don't live in the area, and don't ever make it to any events. They don't have transportation, and a lot of people have said, yeah, well, if they had something on the internet where we could be part of it, to learn you guys' ways, so I don't know. There's a lot of events that go on, but there's not any of them quite like this during the winter time. It's everything during the summer, like that. So, but me and Kathy, are happy that we could share what we do know. We don't know a whole lot other than, just putting the track down and a few things that we were taught, and how many years we've been doing it, so, but if this can help somebody else, encourage somebody else to do some of these younger ones to keep this going, that'd be pretty nice too,
Yeah, so does anybody have any other questions at all? We got about 10 more minutes or so left of it. Does anybody have any questions? If you want to hit, if you want to unmute, you can.
Are there
Um,
any rules with it being a competition? You were talking about people souping things up with battery operated eyes and so are there any rules at all?
Yeah, there's rules that, some guy showed up with a snow snake that looked like one of them pole vaulting. One of them pole vault poles, and they had to tell them that they couldn't use it, and they said, well, there's nothing in the rules that says you can't, and then, that's basically true, but
The only rule is that I know of is that they can't be full metal. Like you can't come in with a metal pole and say it's your snow snake.
yeah. You
And
can't
then-
have nothing with battery powered motor on it or anything like that. They just said anything that most of the places that I went to, they question anything over something like 6 foot, 7 foot. But like I said, that one is probably the one I got here is probably, that's probably 4.5 feet, So I don't usually see them come around like any bigger than 6 foot, and then some places won't let you use lead, you gotta have just a stick, but most places do let you use pour lead to give it weight. But they don't allow you, like Kathy said, they don't allow you with no metal like that. And everybody should know that, can't put a motor on it and all that. The guy that had that electronics hooked to just a head like that, he just wanted to throw it at nighttime and just do something different, and yeah, I seen him throw in competition, but he didn't turn no power on. It was just like regular snow stake, but yeah, there's no I guess you would probably want, you really get technical about it, so somebody don't come in with the pole, you'd have to say, well, anything over 6 foot you can't throw, and no metal and no just plastic, so must be wood, Part of the rules of, like throwing it, you can run and throw it. But that'd be pretty hard to do. You'd have to have a pretty good aim, like throwing a spear or something like that, and then usually some of them lay it right on the track and then throw it. And some will just kind of step up to it and throw it. So there's no rule on that, I've seen the guy try to throw it overhand and it just stuck in the ground, he didn't try that no more, but hopefully that covered what you were asking about the rules
Yes.
like that,
Thank you. Yes.
Anybody have anything else that they wanted to share? Maybe you guys have a snow snake story or anything that you've heard, because this is all about, storytelling and sharing and stuff. So if anybody's on that, if you've done snow snake or if you've heard something different than what you've heard tonight, we definitely would love to hear, because like I said, these stories, the only way that they live on and stuff is if we share them. You don't even have to turn your camera on.
I guess there are different ways to say it in a language, snow snake. I don't know all the ways, but I guess in a language they have different ways of saying it.
The Gunaganabek is the translation that we got from Dorothy Sagataw when she was still alive.
Speaking of which, can't really, I
Yeah.
can't line up with the.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What does this say about them?
That's games.
Games?
Yeah,
Not
Snow
games?
Snake. This
Yeah.
was a long time ago one that we had. But I don't know if we have any. I know we gave out hats one year, like you said. We give out medals still. But yeah, that's it. No cash prizes though.
No.
Luckily, I've never had anybody ask me that when I've done it, because I'd be like, I'll give you a t-shirt and a hat and a medal.
JD or Courtney, what's the youngest person that you know of that's competed?
Gosh, probably a year old.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Their mom or dad will take them up to the track and let them throw it.
That's awesome.
Gotta
Oldest,
start those traditions early.
no,
Mhm.
oldest one, I'm not sure who that would be.
Yeah.
Oldest one I've seen was Irene Petoskey.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think, was she 92?
Wow.
I want to say she was, because I think we did a special shout out to her that year because she was the oldest. And I do think we had somebody that was a year old or like 13 months or something.
Mhm.
And then we did like an oldest and a youngest and made sure they got their little recognition the one year. But I want to say the oldest that I've ever done, I think it was Irene.
Mhm.
And she was just as competitive as the rest of them.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's fun to watch them because they're, using canes and everything else. Heck, I got out there, I had to use a cane to get up to the track. Didn't throw very far, but I got to throw.
All right, I think that about wraps it up. If anybody doesn't have any other questions at all, we got a couple extra minutes here, but I think we answered everybody's. And I know Jananne Cotto was on.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure you guys knew.
Janan asked, I just wanted to say thank you to JD and Kathy for sharing your knowledge and hoping you guys are doing really good and hoping that Evelyn is doing really good. Tell her I said hi.
I will, Miigwech.
Yeah.
Good to hear from you.
Mhm. Good to see all of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, this virtual thing is crazy, isn't it? You get to see all these people that you haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And like you said, JD, definitely thinking about like next year or the years after, instead of just doing the whole pictures.
Yeah.
Never really thought we could actually go live and do some live streaming and stuff during the day.
Mhm.
So that's somebody else's job, not mine, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got enough going on that day of the event. So I'm
Mark,
gonna have to pass
really
that off to somebody
grateful.
else.
Really grateful to you, Community Health and Education, for putting this together. I'm very appreciative. Thank you. Miigwech.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you guys for joining.
Yeah, Miigwech for coming. Miigwech, Courtney and JD for being here and supporting us. We really appreciate it. I just wanted to remind everyone that the next Laugh, Live, and Learn Coffee with an Elder is March 31st in the evening from 6 to 7, and it's going to be on Sugar Bush.
Yeah, we have Tom Toothorn, Paul Rayfield, and Dan Hinman. They're all right now all are tapping trees and stuff. Tom's tapping here out at Housing and Harbor, and I know Dan's got a Sugar Bush event going on next week, I do believe, or next weekend. And then Paul Rayfield being down in Peshabi Town, I do believe he's from. He's been tapping for a couple weeks now, so the sap water's running. Make sure to get some if you see it somewhere. It's very tasty. So Chimi Gwitch, everyone. Chimi Gwitch, Cotney and JD for the stories, and
Mhm.
we'll hopefully see everybody on Thursday the 31st. So have a good night. Enjoy the weekend.
Vamos,
Good night.
Pico,
Come up, Pete.
Come on, P.
Mama P.